Muy bien, clase. Estamos en la página 16 y 17. La página 17 tenemos la sección de la ortografía y también la acentuación. La ortografía y la acentuación. So as you reviewed la ortografía, you saw that there are a couple of letters in the alphabet that have a couple of options. For example, C can be pronounced S or K, depending on what comes after it. And you have a couple of other examples there. And your task was to review the alphabet and pronounce those words again. Those are the words on page 16. And then see how you were doing. In many of those words we use in English, and so we are used to giving them an English pronunciation. So this is to help you with your Spanish pronunciation, particularly of these words that you might be familiar with in English. The other section is la acentuación. Here are the four main rules, and you reviewed those, and then you went over and again reviewed that list of words, and you came up with the group of words that belong to Rule 1, Rule 2, Rule 3, Rule 4. So let's just go ahead and review your grouping of words. You should have all of those words ready to go. Let's take the first one, Argentina. And so what would you do? Well, if I were doing it, I'd say, okay, there's no written stress mark, so it's not in group 3 or 4. So it's in 1 or 2. It ends in a vowel, N or S. That means it belongs to the first rule. That's why it's pronounced Argentina and not Argentina or Argentina or Argentina. Those would be the other options. Argentina. ¿Clase? Fabuloso. Número 2. Grupo 1, 2, 3 o 4. Grupo 1, ¿verdad? Bolivia, vowel, N or S, no written stress mark follows the rule. Number 3, número 3, palabra 3, Cuba. Vowel N or S, first group. ¿Qué tal distrito? Vowel N or S, no written stress mark, group 1. And federal, o distrito federal, federal, no written stress mark, but it ends in a consonant other than N or S, which puts that into the second group, the second rule. También tenemos Ecuador, second rule. Fajardo, first. Guatemala, Guatemala, and Gibraltar. Okay. Guatemala first, Gibraltar second. Honduras first, Islas Canarias, both end in an S, so that's in the vowel N or S group. So in the first group. Let's go down. Juarez, written stress mark. That tells us the rule is broken. So that goes into our third group, which is, in this case, it ends in a consonant other than N or S, which would put it into the second rule group. But in this case, it has a written stress mark. And again, what does that written stress mark mean? That's right. This is where you place the stress mark. And the rule, the general stress rule, has been broken. Go on down. Mexico. So if we didn't have that stress mark, how would it be pronounced? Mexico. That's right. But it has the written stress mark saying, don't follow the general rule. Rule's broken here. Put the stress mark on that initial syllable. Mexico. Palabra Pacífico. Same thing. Vowel N or S, but written stress mark. Put the stress mark where it's written. Pacífico. Tegucigalpa, Venezuela, Extremadura, Zaragoza. All of these belong in the first group. And then you have Uruguay, Salvador, Paraguay, and these words would go into the second. ¿Está bien? So those are the 4 rules. Follow those rules and you will be able to pronounce any word that you see in Spanish and know exactly where to put the stress mark.